Just joking. I see you. What's up guys? Fry here. I'm back in Indiana visiting my family for the holidays. So I'm staying at my sister's house, but I'm really struggling to like sleep inside. This is my room. Not bad, right? Got these super nice bright orange wood floors. Walk in, bam, the room. Desk that I got off of Facebook Marketplace for free. So I can sit and work, guitar, and that's all my stuff. Anyways, like I was saying, I'm having a horrible time sleeping in here, and I don't know if it's just because I'm super used to the van, but I'm gonna take all my stuff, go out to the van, and then just see what goes from there. Cedar! There she is! And here we are. So, this is the yard. Over there is like a spillway from the lake, and it runs down through here, and then the van is parked right here. And I'm super stoked. So I figure I should get this thing ready, get the top popped out, and there's my sister. Whoa, we got no zoom, 24 to 35. Who are you? Okay. You gotta stack the wood in there. Kind of like a teepee, but then with a cabin on top, if you want it to go. And you can only use brown paper if you want it to start super well. Prepare to be toasty. Yes. Ah, dang it. Yo, so guys, what's up? I'm so stoked to be in the van, just like at all. It's so nice to get in here, and this is like the first time that I've gotten the stove started up in a while. Being in Indiana is pretty hard because there's just not a ton of stuff for me to do. There's no rock climbing really, there's nothing, but I definitely like had to make a trip back to see my family. The trip always winds up being like harder and a little bit longer than what I planned for, so it's nice to just kind of get away from it. But it's also super rad that my sister and her husband are letting me stay at their place, but I think that I'm just going to be sleeping in the van outside. So tonight I'm probably just going to sleep in the van because I haven't slept at all since I've been living indoors. I'm not sure why that is. Also, this is my new wood stove, which I made a little video on. I cut these perfect little logs for it because it can't take anything super big and whatnot. But I wanted to make a FAQ video of just frequently asked questions. So, yeah, should we start that? Okay, camera is at correct level. we're set. So I want to do this FAQ, and I'm also going to be making like a bunch more vlogs and stuff like that because I really need to work on video, try to hone my skill in, even though like I wouldn't say that vlogs are like the most skillful thing, but they can be, and they're very useful. So yeah, how do you make money for gas? And so this is probably like just the overall like whole money question. How do I make money, and like how do you just continuously travel? And to be honest, I don't make a ton of money. I like could be considered a hobo, which while I'm here, people legitimately think that I'm homeless. And that might just be because I don't feel like I need to take a shower more than like once a week. But yeah, so anyways, so I do commercial photography, just try to grind and find gigs with different companies and get them to purchase images and do different campaigns because I want to bring more brand awareness and value to their company and do good work. And so that's one thing that I do like social media marketing and strategy, where a company would like pay me to run their social media and post and like take all the photos for their page, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So that, and then if I'm like struggling, because I struggle, I will just try to look for like a little Craigslist gig with a homie, or do just like random things, sell a couple things. Either way, I don't really require a lot of money. I would never really say that I'm like completely hurting for money or anything like that, because like the things that I want you can't really buy with money. So I don't know. I just don't have very much room to keep things. So really like the only thing that money is good for is to buy a thing, which I don't really want. I don't really need money because I don't want things. I just need to be able to survive. And I can survive off of like $300 a month and be like moderately comfortable at like $500 a month. Be like decent, yeah, be like well comfortable at $500 a month. But yeah. So that's how I make money, like little Craigslist job, like every once in a while, but primarily commercial photography, all sorts of other good stuff. So that's how I make money. Can I have your car for $1 million? What kind of gas mileage do you get on your van? So the van, I would say if it didn't have all this stuff and all this weight, it would probably get like 22 or like 24 miles per gallon. I have no clue. But I like read up a decent amount on what other people get, and a lot of times they can get like pretty decent gas mileage. But me, I think I get like 16 to 20, or like 16 to 18, and I got like the weight of the van, all my stuff, me, this wood stove, like food, you know, got like the boxes and bumpers and stuff, and all that weighs a lot. But I mean, it still drives fine. My brakes are sketch. It's fine. So like 16 to 18. What's it like to have limited available space? I love to have stuff and save everything. Do you rotate old for new, or do you replace only when it's broke? I don't really care to like have stuff. Basically, I will use something until it's like no more usable, like about to be donezo. Like these pants are a good example. I've had them for forever and they've been fixed a couple of different times, but just recently Courtney Christensen patched them up for me. Put like 4 different patches on them, like even on parts where there's not like an actual hole, but it's just like about worn down. And she actually patched it with like an old pair of jorts that I had, and now everyone that had her patch their pants, my jorts are now on their pants, which is kind of funny and random. So I will just use something until it is like basically unusable, and then just like donate it or recycle it, you know, whatever you can do. Then I'll just buy like a new one if I need to, but I'll buy one of like the same or like better quality. That way it lasts a lot longer, and you know, I don't have to like worry about things going out on me. But in terms of storing things, I mean, like I have 6 cabinets, and I would say that though, like in total I have maybe 60% of that space used up. So if I like find something that I really want at a thrift store, I could definitely buy it and keep it with me, but I would just much rather like spend my money on just like driving around or something like that than like buying something. Like for another example, this shirt I've only had for like maybe 6 months or something, but I wear it all the time and wash it not very often, so it just kind of gets dirty, and that's cool with me because I don't care to like be super clean. Because like most people every day, like in the normal person's everyday life, like all you do is like get up, go to work, and then you come back home. And like for most people, you really don't even get dirty, but everybody takes like 3 showers in a day, so it just doesn't make sense to me. How are we doing on space on this card? 193. Oh goodness.
I'm gonna have to back that up.
Definitely, where do you park at night, especially over long periods of time when traveling, etc. Would love to hear details on how you plan and what to watch out for. So when it comes to finding a place to park, honestly, I don't really plan that out unless I wind up in like Sketchville, which I just won't even try to sleep there. So I don't know, most of the places that I'm at, there's just national forest, so I'll just sleep there. Or like I'm in a cool town like Bend or Boulder or something like that, and I'll just sleep in town. And like both of those places seem to be pretty chill. Bend is super chill. I don't really know about Boulder though, because I only stayed there a couple nights. But yeah, so there's not like a whole lot of preparation to knowing where I'm gonna sleep. I'll just look for a spot that looks like, you know, there's not any no overnight parking signs, or no like any obvious signs that I shouldn't be there. You know, just the usual. Would love to hear details on how you plan, what to watch out for. Yeah, I think I feel like I covered all that. Okay, I should go empty this SD card. Alright. Empty this pup out. Should we pick up where we left off? So toasty. I just don't know how this thing doesn't like straight up melt. My water is now boiling. I want to know how to get started. Like, it's so hard to justify buying a van, but I want to because I'll be going on to college next year and have more freedoms. I want to travel in summer. The only way that you could really start is like, you don't even have to have a van. You could just have a Corolla. Just drive around and like sleep in the back of it. You know, like you could literally have anything and it would work as long as it worked. And it all depends on like the level of comfortability that you want, but I think that everyone is so fearful of like not being able to have full control of their life when they're living this way, but really that's like what you get when you decide to just go and do what you want. You get full control. Nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. Like, you know, even if you have bills, nobody's gonna like come looking for you, you know? If you like don't pay your bills, obviously you should pay your bills. I don't know, you just gotta start. Get a rig and then drive it. It's as simple as it sounds though. It really is. How long do you foresee yourself living on the road? I love not having to pay rent to anyone. You know, like my vehicle payment is my my house payment. So, you know, you just save like a ton of money, which is why I don't need a bunch of money. You can go wherever you want, like rather than being like stuck in one spot. So like as it goes for like the next 5 years or so, I really don't see myself living any other way. It's so comfortable and you can just do what you want. And I like being my own boss. I think I'm about to burn up my axe. But yeah, you just gotta, I foresee myself living on the road for like at least the next 5 years, and that could totally change. I have no clue. You know, like maybe a gal comes into my life that I'm like, Sea Dog, don't mess up my sleeping bag. You know, maybe a girl comes into my life and I'm like mad stoked and I'm like, this is the one, you know. Then maybe I would not live in a van, but the ideal girl would live in the van with me, and like that's the kind you'd want anyways. So I don't know what I'm saying about having a girl that wouldn't live in a van. So how do you determine where to stop? Do you have to find camp spots? How do you have water? I just stop whenever I'm tired, honestly. I'll just pull over on the side of the road sometimes and take a nap, and it's super easy. And since my rig's not like the most sketch, the cops usually like leave me alone. And to find camp, it's pretty much just like drive somewhere where the national forest is and then just find a road and go up it, and then you'll find such a sweet spot for sure. How do I have water? So underneath of my stove, there is a big container in the cabinet that holds like well, it's not very big, but it only holds like 5 gallons of water. And then I hooked up a little jank faucet to it with a switch and a pump. So when I turn it on, I have 5 gallons of running water, which was like kind of like super nice to have since I have Cedar now. Gotta have water of some sort. Got boiling water. I want to know, how do you or could you store meat if you were to get a deer or goat? I'm thinking of one of those ice cream truck freezers that runs off the engine. So like, as far as hunting goes, when I'm in the van, I don't really have the means to keep big game contained, so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to even hunt big game. But I'm like looking at getting a Dometic fridge, which would be a way to keep meat frozen or super cold or whatever. But I really don't even eat like normal meat now, just for like some environmental purposes. You know, I still eat like wild game, but a squirrel you could like pretty much just put in a plastic bag or something, or like put in a paper bag, then just put it up top and it's cold enough outside that it would stay cold. But if it's like super hot outside, you gotta have like a little cooler of some sort. I don't know, it's just, this isn't the most ideal situation to try to like keep large game or like that much food. How did you acquire your home? So this is super sick. I like tell this story a lot. I was like 17 years old, like looking for a van. I got my first ever loan from the bank in my hometown, and I'm like out west in Washington, you know, super stoked. Been living in my Land Cruiser, and I see a like Vanagon for sale, and so I'm like, oh dude, that would be super rad to have. Get a little loan, you know, make an agreement with the homie that has it. Well, I get headed to Idaho where this dude is like from. You get like super close. He's like, hey, sorry, I sold it. And I'm like, what? You know? Okay, hold on, I can't tell the story and do this at the same time. Alright. So anyways, I get like halfway to Idaho and the dude's like, sorry, I sold it. And I'm like, bro, I'm 17, just got a loan to get this junker van from you. And he was like, not my problem. I was like, alright, fair enough, which sucked. And so I'm like freaking out because I already had my Land Cruiser sold. The woman that had this van, it was listed in Spokane, Washington, and she wanted like $14,500 for it. And I was just like, oh, I can't afford that. Here's what I can afford. I got a $4,500 loan. You know, if you don't even like respond to my inquiry, I don't blame you. And so, you know, because I just wanted to like test my luck and see like if it would go through or not, you know, because I really did just like need a house. One made like the most sense. So pretty much I just said like, hey, you don't even have to get back to me. I totally understand it. But if you were to sell the van to me, this is what I would do. And told her that, you know, I'd be like living in it, you know, traveling around as much as I can, you know, just full-time van life. She told me that somebody was like coming to buy it, but she would think about it. And then she called me back like 20 minutes later after we had gotten off the phone, and she was like, hey, just so you know, I like called and canceled on the guy that was gonna come and buy it tonight. I want you to have it for what you can afford. And that's how it was set. And so I gave her like my whole loan, you know. I would have given her all of it if I would have had it, but so it was just like a crazy span of luck. So I definitely think that it was meant to be. She just said that she needed some good karma, and I don't know what she did. It was super rad of her to like just give me that full hookup. And the van was like completely stock, you know, no interior stuff like the stove or anything like that, just like the back cabinet and the folding bed. And so yeah, that's how I got it. And I wish that I still talked to her, but I haven't talked to her since I bought the van. What happened to your Yamaha? I still have it. It's just off of the van so that the van gets like a break in the shed out back. Pretty easy stuff. Let me see my post on the Facebook. Nothing, it will load. And then I got 2 questions from Facebook. I hate the concept of currency, but how do you make money to travel so often and to survive? Well, I basically just take all of my money and put it into experience rather than buying things. And I explained how I make money at the beginning of this video. Want less things, want more experience. Actually, somebody put this sticker on my van in Moab. It's pretty sick. It says want less. So I'm definitely going to put that on the van. That's like actually super rad. And I did a post a while back asking what people would like to see. So I'm also going to hit that. Okay, here we go. Heavy questions. Hashtag nudes for nudes. That's from Eli Putrin. Of course. Why do you order McDonald's hamburgers with just and extra ketchup? A master does not reveal his secrets. And that's ×2 because he asked me this on the last post too. My favorite color, yellow. Like the yellow of this shirt is my absolute favorite. So I have like bright yellow mug and a yellow plate. And they didn't like go together, but I found them on the coast and they are just super sick. And actually the yellow mug was like gifted to me, but it's broke like 4 times, and I just keep fixing it with steel stick. How good do you smell? I did just put deodorant on, so 8 out of 10. How do you make sure Cedar gets enough exercise when you do a lot of driving? Well, I mean, Cedar's like super chill if I need her to be chill. She's not like super demanding of exercise, but we'll just go on walks, you know, like I'll stop at like a state park or something, or like just a local park. We'll go on a walk, or just like, you know, I'll stand there and like act like I'm preying on her, and she'll just like run around and act like I'm chasing her. Always curious what you end up eating on a day-to-day basis. Oh yeah, this is a huge one. So in the morning, I'll usually start out with like a bowl of fruit with Cliff Bar's like chocolate almond granola, almond milk, or just like a little bowl of cereal, or a smoothie using like a NutriBullet, you know, the little blender, because fruit's like kind of easy to keep. I don't know if it's supposed to be refrigerated, but I don't really refrigerate it. And then like for lunch, I'll just like snack around a bunch, eat chips, make like one of those little packets of like $1 noodles, chicken noodles, and add like tuna to it. And then for dinner, I always like taking some sort of like vegetable broth, and then adding like potatoes, carrots, onions, whatnot, boil or like saute that, and then add in a bunch of different seasonings, and then put in the broth, and that makes like a good soup. Or I'll make like, I don't know, squirrel and mashed potatoes or something, or jackrabbit and mashed potatoes. And so yeah, I eat really well. It just like depends on if I feel like eating, because a lot of times there's just, you're like trying to do stuff and you're like, oh, do I really need to take the time to eat? Like, not always. And so I just try to make like pretty quick meals. Potatoes definitely kind of take a second, you know, they're good, so it's worth it. How do you create something that will fund the non-stop adventure? You just gotta use your imagination, you know? Like, if you're good at drawing, like try to sell your drawings. If you're good at woodworking, try to sell that. If you're good at like weaving, try to sell that. If you can make quilts, try to sell that. You know, all these things that you could try to sell, buy things and sell them, you know. I have friends that buy and resell old like Woolrich clothing, and I think that they do really well with it. So, I mean, you could try all sorts of different things. What types of film do you shoot, and what do you enjoy the most? As far as film goes, I shoot a lot of 35mm Polaroid. I used to shoot a decent amount of 4x5. I mean, I have a Super 8 camera, but I haven't actually used it. My most enjoyable, I think, is Polaroid, just because there's instant gratification to it, but also it is kind of hard to shoot with one sometimes, especially like if it's just even a little dim outside. You'll wind up, you know, just completely blurring out the photo. And so I actually just took like the coolest Polaroid of my Gramps, which I'm like super stoked on. Favorite is Polaroid, and it's just super fun and kind of easy to take around with you, and yeah, it's just fun. It's expensive though. It's like $2.50 per shot, so if you like get a blurry photo, it kind of sucks, which I've definitely had like quite a few of those already. Are you gonna start making more vlogs? I'm definitely gonna make more vlogs. Do you still skate? Maybe some skate progression vids. I don't skate as much as I would like to. There's not really a park around here, and I'm not good enough to just come up with things here, yeah, if that makes sense, to like be creative with skating, because like I can still barely ollie. Like I can ride bowls, and I can like drop in and do a couple of different grinds in a bowl, but other than that, I can't like do any flat ground tricks. What is your most important gear, and why? If someone were to try something familiar, or wanted to travel to some of the places you've been, what would you say to them? So my most important gear, aside from like camera gear and whatnot, I think it's really important to have like quality. As of right now, my most important gear to me is like my rock climbing gear, like quick draws and just beaners and a blade of ice and rope. And that's pretty much all that it is. But that just allows me to like do my art and like enjoy my freedom. If someone were to try to do something similar or wanted to travel, what would you say to them? Just do it, homies. I mean, like, it's super easy. You just gotta do it. And once you just put things into place and then go for it, everything will work out. Things work out for people that take leaps. Like, I'm such a firm believer in that. So even when times start to get like super rough on my end, I'm still like, okay, you know, I'm doing something different. I'm, you know, doing what I love to do, and that's like the most important thing. I'm trying to inspire other people to get out of like the norm and do the things that they enjoy. I'm always super confident that at some point I'm not gonna have to worry about anything, but until then I'm still not worrying a ton. How many times do you have to go hunting in a month for food? And is it tricky to do with the game wardens and whatnot? Not tricky because I'm legal and I buy a license everywhere that I go, but in terms of how many times I have to go hunting, like, I don't have to go hunt because I really don't have to eat meat, but it's like pure protein. I will go maybe like 10 times a month, you know, and like 1 or 2 of those times are like, who knows? It could be like 7 out of 10 times I come back empty-handed, and that's just kind of how it works. I don't ever really go out with the expectation that I'm going to get something. I just like hope that I get something, and if I do. I'd like to know more about the challenges that come with living in a van. It seems to be a highly desirable life to live, but what makes it the most difficult? For me, it's like the winter, as like everybody heard, but I love being in the mountains, and so I kind of struggle to get out of these places, like to get out of the mountains in the winter, because when it's like super flat or, you know, anything like that, I just feel kind of stuck. But I also think that a lot of like my seasonal depression that had like started not super long ago, like it's only been a thing for like the last year, honestly, was due to me having a panic attack one time, and it basically like freaked me out, kind of like pumped me with like an anxiety. I definitely think that I'm like getting over that, but I know that like for everybody, or you know, for everyone else, that doesn't always happen, so just to like put that out there. But for me, you know, I think that I'm like getting closer and closer to like being like anxiety free, which I'm super stoked about. And you know, just to like put out there, if anybody is like having any trouble at all and needs somebody to talk to, I'm your guy. Like, I'm always around. But yeah, so I think that like seasonal depression, when it starts getting gray, because I don't have like a ton of lights in here, I have like the little Christmas lights, which I found for like $4, so I just had to buy them. Like one fluorescent light, but it's not, you know, like if it's gray outside, it's gray in here. So maybe putting like more warm lights in here would make things a lot better. But it's also really hard just like deciding where you want to go. Honestly, that's like one of the biggest things that I struggle with, is like, all right, where are we going to? Because there's so many places that I want to go. But yeah, well, that's all the questions that I have right now. And I hope that I like covered things. I didn't get super in-depth with anything, but I feel like I have like a pretty simple life, and it doesn't really, you don't have to dive very deep to see what's going on. And I just try to be as transparent as I can. So like I said, I hope that I covered everything that you could think of, but I'll be making a lot more videos, so just stay stoked on that, and I'm gonna stay super stoked on it. Peace out. Peace from Cedar. Peace, Sea Dog. Peace from the Deerfoot. Later, homies.